Good morning, YouTube. This video is in response to Mr. Superboy223's video on what we allow to happen. And I don't know if it's necessarily a response, but it's just my thoughts on a few of the things that he stated. First of all, let me get one point that isn't political out of the way. Harvey, on your video, that bullshit from Alex Jones was just that bullshit. I live in Texas, and that black KKK crap is just a fantasy. Probably what happened, he just ran up on some everyday thug, plain and simple. So he just used that to embellish whatever he was talking about. And to be honest with you, I didn't even see the video. I'm just going based on what you stated. Okay, now on point. I did an analysis of the top Senate races and the top governor races. In Arkansas, Cotton beat Pryor. Why did that happen? Because there was no Democratic vision and no strong get out the black vote. In Colorado, Mark Gardner beat Udall. Why? Udall was a one-trick pony on issue and was just hoping that he could skate on by and was also depending on getting out the Hispanic vote. According to some of the reports I read, he really was a pretty decent guy, but anytime he got in front of a camera, he appeared as stiff as a board and never smiled, while his opponent, every time you saw him in front of a camera, he was grinning from ear to ear. He didn't have a lot of substance, but he came across as likable, and that's why Udall lost. In Iowa, this one gets me. Joni Ernst beat Braley. I can't understand why he didn't nail her on her Tea Party agenda, and also Braley made a bunch of stupid comments about his constituents. One of the dumbest comments he made was that he didn't want a farmer in charge of the Judiciary Committee. That farmer happened to be Chuck Grassley, who obviously is beloved in Iowa. So that sank him with the farmers. In North Carolina, Tillis beat Hagan. The one main reason that she lost was that she didn't get out enough of the black vote. She used Obama the day before the election on radio stations in the predominantly black North Carolina areas to try to get the vote out, but she did it too late. She should have had him in there a long time ago pushing the black vote, and she should have come up with a stronger agenda. Now, she was a good senator, but short-sightedness and shying away from Obama until the last second sank her. In Georgia, Perdue beat Nunn. Again, she didn't get enough of the black vote out, and that was so bad that she couldn't even get to a runoff. In Kentucky, McConnell beat Grimes. Now this one, I'm not shedding any tears over. I can't understand how a person who is hated by 60% of his constituents can beat a Clinton surrogate. I guess the Clintons aren't as magical as they thought. She was too stupid to admit what everybody knew, that she had voted for Obama. When she did that, she alienated the black vote, thereby getting her ass kicked. And even in her concession speech, she showed that she was a little princess, because she didn't give an absolute concession. She just said a bunch of stuff, but never conceded to McConnell. In Kansas, Roberts beat Orman. Or should I say, Orman lost to Roberts. Orman was stupid. The Democrat dropped out of the race to give him a good chance, and he played sissy. He wouldn't ask for the Democrats' help in organizing, which he definitely needed. He was up 6 points 2 weeks before Bob Dole came in, and he lost the election by 12 points. Dole is beloved in Kansas, but he still could have won with all of Roberts' baggage. In Alaska, Sullivan beat Begich. This one was going to go Republican anyway, so there was pretty much no saving it. Says Begich was lucky to win the last time that he ran. In Louisiana, Landau made it a runoff only because the Republican vote was split. With more black voters, she could have gotten from 43% to 50%, plus one. I don't know, but you know, I'm thinking she could have gotten there. In her case, she didn't even ask Obama to come in or even mention his name, and black people stayed home. In New Hampshire, Shaheen won, but she should have killed Brown. And in Virginia, Warner won, but he should have killed Gillespie. Instead, she won by 4 points and he won by 2. Shaheen needed Elizabeth Warren to come in to save her ass because she didn't have a message. Warner took the race for granted and got saved by Fairfax County and the black voters in Richmond, Alexandria, and the southern districts bordering North Carolina. With a properly run campaign, the Democrats should have held Arkansas, Colorado, Iowa, and Louisiana, and probably taken Kansas, which would have kept the majority in their hands. The governor races were another story. In Wisconsin, Walker beat Burke. That one I couldn't figure because he screwed most of his people and they still voted him in. In Kansas, Brownback beat Davis, and Brownback damn near bankrupted the state and pissed everybody off with his education cuts. In Michigan, Snyder beat Shower, and I can't figure out how an anti-union guy beats a union guy in Michigan. In Florida, Scott beat Chris, and the whole state hated Scott. How did he win? Chris didn't get enough of his minority vote, blacks and Hispanics, out, so he lost. In Massachusetts, Baker beat Coakley, and Coakley didn't court the minorities, and they stayed home, and she lost by a whisker. In Ohio, Kasich, the Republican, won by 20 points, and in Texas, Abbott won by 22. Now, Ohio's a swing state, so how, you know, even with a great rating, 20 points is one thing. In Texas, 22 for a Republican over a Democrat, that's just business as usual. The end result of last night is going to be rollbacks of all the decent laws we have and further entrenchment on positions such as abortion and voting rights. I'll never understand how people vote against their own self-interest. It might turn out to be not that bad, but you can forget about any changes to voting rights, EPA, and minimum wage increases on a federal level. And you better pray no Supreme Court judge retires for 3 years, and forget about any lower federal court appointments being anything but conservative. The Democrats took the black vote for granted. Why? The answer is we don't hold them accountable. They're now going to heavily pursue the Hispanic vote along with the Republicans. During this election season, Jeb Bush was making Spanish language ads all over the place. And you'll notice that both parties kept their mouths shut on immigration. What happened to that famed Obama ground game? It disappeared because there was nothing to bring them out. So they basically just stayed home. One thing about the Republicans, they weren't stupid. They had learned and evolved. In every single one of their campaigns, they dictated everything that their candidates said in public, and there were no gaffes this year. The best example of this was crazy-ass Joni Ernst. Initially, she was talking about going to Congress with a gun, and she's going to castrate people. Oh, she was talking about all kinds of crazy things. Okay, but after she won her election to run against the Democrat, the Republicans pulled her in, told her to keep her mouth shut on everything, and then Braley insulted his own constituents. So that sank him. The Republicans had a great game plan that the Democrats allowed them to use. Every bad thing was Obama's fault, and they hammered that point, and it worked to a fault. There was not one single Democrat that defended the president, and truth be told, Obama did more for whites, LGBTs, and women and Hispanics than he did for blacks. Actually, he did nothing for blacks, but criticized us, which gave the racists and everyone else cover when they did it. All the black entertainment coons like Bill Cosby and sports has-beens like Charles Barkley, Kobe Bryant, Stephen A. Smith didn't help matters much. They just helped people like O'Reilly and Hannity have more material to work from. Black people had one shot, and that was in the first 2 years when Congress was in Democratic control. Notice I said shot because Democrats are just as biased as Republicans, but they camouflage it better. We as a people are survivors, but we can only take so much, and 2016 isn't looking any better. What did the Democrats run on exactly? Absolutely nothing. It was almost like they wanted this to happen. There were a lot of bad Republican candidates out there, but the Democrats didn't take advantage. How the hell does a Republican governor who bankrupted Kansas and screwed them on their #1 priority, education, win re-election? Or a New York Republican congressman who is under indictment and is going to be convicted and go to jail? How does he score a landslide re-election? There are a lot of lost governorships in blue states to Republicans. How does that even happen? Even the ones Democrats hung on to were close. Blacks have to come together like Dole and Roberts did to get somewhere. Roberts and the Republicans screwed Bob Dole on ratification of the International Disability Act, and Dole had come to the floor begging just 6 Republicans to join the Democrats to pass it. They screwed him. But that didn't stop him from coming to Roberts' aid against Orman in Kansas. Again, Orman was up 6 points 2 weeks before the election, and Dole probably put Roberts over the top. How much do you want to bet that they bring that legislation back up and it passes with flying colors? There's going to be open season on Obama and everybody else other than big money. There's going to be so many Senate investigations, you're going to have to take a number to keep up. Immigration reform is going to get done, and the Republicans are going to take credit for it. Watch. There are going to be all kinds of infrastructure bills passed to gin up the economy for the middle class in rural areas all of a sudden. Hell, blacks may even get a few bones to quiet us down and keep us home in 2016. The border issue is going to go away. Why? Because Mexico just privatized their oil industry, and now there will be good paying jobs across the border, and the Mexicans will stay home and the Central American people will stop there as their economy improves. Hell, we may start going across the border and they may start deporting us. The Republicans are going to be in total control of Congress. They will have 248 seats in the House and possibly 55 seats in the Senate if the Independents caucus with them. They're going to have 31 governorships, which is a net pickup of 6. The Republicans were smart. If anybody thinks that the House can be turned in 2016, they are dreaming. The Senate might be flipped, but then you are back to divided government again. How come the people running the party didn't see this? Because I sure did. There's going to be more gerrymandering to further cage and dilute our voting power. We as a people better start doing something. We need to do whatever it takes to get our own house in order. It starts in the home. We need to start developing more stable home family units with a mother and a father in the house. We need to push the education side and get our kids off of glorifying dumb athletes and hip-hop artists and more about doctors, lawyers, etc. We need to get our own media outlets that aren't biased against us like Fox. We need our own economic base and stop supporting every other group that comes into our communities and takes our money out. We need to go after the gangs and the drug dealers ourselves, doing whatever it takes to get rid of them, making our neighborhood safer for us and our kids. We also need to form our own political party, or at a minimum, make both parties aware that they have to court us and perform for us, or we will kick them to the curb. All right, that's my second video. Again, there was a lot more that Harvey said in his video, and I really just didn't want to really just go through all of it. Anybody watching this, I suggest you go to Mr. Superboy223's channel and review that last video he made, which I've referenced at the beginning of this one. It's got a lot of salient points in it, and I agree with just about all of them. Again, we got 2 years to go here. Hopefully, you know, something decent will happen, but you know, I'm not considering it. Anyway, everybody have a great day, and I will see you on the next video.